Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Soundcheck. We have the mother of electronica, Ma Faiza. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Sid. Even my wife was like, that was terrifying, babe. Like, where did that come from?
I know you're gonna get deep in this interview. I didn't realize the
First question. I have never, in 3,500 gigs, cancelled a gig. Even when I Google Ma Faiza, the next question is Ma Faiza male or female? Or I am pure energy. I feel like I'm not human. And there are many gigs I do where I feel like I just had sex with everybody.
And even for you, right? Like a lot of conversation around you is around your sexual identity. Do you feel comfortable talking about these?
Soundcheck.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Soundcheck. I am so excited for today's episode. We have the mother of electronica, Ma Faiza. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Sid.
Such a pleasure.
I really appreciate it. I've been really excited actually to come and share my whole story with you. It might take a couple of days, but I'm here.
We've got time. We're not in a rush. And we know this has been a super hectic weekend for you. So thank you so much for taking out time to do this.
Every second counts, but yeah, no, actually, I think it's important. It's a long time since I've done a podcast,
Right.
and I think what you're doing is really creative,
Thank
so I'm really excited. Bring it on.
Awesome. How are you feeling?
Exhausted,
Yeah.
and I think I might be exhausted. Yeah, I've had 2 red-eye flights
Right.
already, and sleeping in the day is a nightmare.
Right.
But, the gigs give you the energy.
Right.
So whatever you've missed throughout the whole day or the last few
Right.
days or the week or the month,
Right.
just that performance and the energy from the crowd, if it's a great gig, if
Right.
everything's kind of calibrated correctly,
Right.
you can't sleep even then after,
Right.
because it's just the energy.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And yesterday you were at Guwahati.
Yes.
Today you're in Bangalore.
Yes.
You're playing in Echo. How are you feeling? Are you excited?
I've walked in the hotel. It's
Yeah.
a lovely hotel. I've
Right.
stayed in a loft in Delhi,
Right.
which is in the Aero City.
Right.
Also beautiful property.
Right.
They have the most, amazing breakfast. It's
Yeah.
my fabulous place to have breakfast. So, it's very vibey. It's
Yeah.
really great. It's very young.
Yeah.
I had a beautiful welcome. I'm really happy to be here, and the place looks awesome. I love the fact that it's outside.
Right.
Obviously, it's covered with
Right.
the rain,
Right.
but it doesn't happen so often that you're at a place and it's an outdoor area.
Right.
So
I mean, in Bangalore, of course, you've got to enjoy
you
the
have
whole
to.
experience, right?
Yes.
It just doesn't feel the same when you are cooped up inside a small room,
I absolutely
right?
agree.
Especially
Yeah.
when the weather is so beautiful
Yeah.
out here.
Yeah.
And like you said, the hotel is just so charming. It's so
Yeah, it's
vibrant.
fun.
It's
You've got
it's
a
fun.
pool table in the lobby. A pool table in the lobby. There you go. Look, we've got
Right.
a little snooker set over there.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in some Google, Apple kind of,
Right.
working environment. Even
Right.
the lobbies are very cool. The rooms are super interesting.
Right.
Furniture, colors, carpets. I mean, I
Right.
stay in a lot of hotels,
Right.
and it's great when a hotel has a personality.
Right.
Even if you
Agreed.
don't like it, you can appreciate the personality.
Agreed. That's an
I
interesting
go
point.
into some old worldly places. I go to some places full of wood and oak and dark colors, and maybe that's a bit heavy for me, but I at least really appreciate that there's a personality.
Agreed.
There are some hotels that are so insipid
Right.
that they all merge into one room.
Right.
You just can't remember what hotel you were at, and that says something.
Right, absolutely. I want to get right into it. I want
Sure.
to get into the meat now. So my first question to you is, who is the Ma Faiza that I'm talking to? Because I know 2 Ma Faizas.
Oh my God, I don't even know myself. Oh my God, that's a question. I feel like I'm in the chair in the office.
So there are 2 Ma Faizas that I know, right? One is the one that's sitting in front of me, this cozy, really warm personality that, you can come up to and talk to. And then there's this other Ma Faiza that I see up on stage, which is like a ball of energy and
A bit
my
fierce.
God, fierce, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I think you're on fire literally when you're on stage.
I probably am.
So,
but I'm on fire a lot of the time. Keep the embers burning, you know. I can see that for many people that's a big gap between. I think it's all me.
Right.
I constantly have to find myself in all of it, and in those moments of extreme. I don't want to say stress, but let's say extreme overwhelmingness.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've got the music, you're going to perform. There's the crowd. It's really loud. I'm up there on the stage. I feel like the more exhausted I am, or the more I'm having difficulties, somehow the more fire comes out. So, if for me, I think that's where I tap into a magic quality. Like yesterday, I was absolutely dead at my gig, and yet I unleashed. I don't even know where it comes from. Mm-hmm. I think the music. Once I after a few tracks, I start getting into the music. I feel like the music's in me. I feel like every beat is flowing through my veins, and I feel like I'm flowing inside the music. It's not even that the music's in me and that's it. It's like this journey with the music, and then the energy of the people. And I see that to drive something, you have to give everything. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the only way I know how to do anything. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to do I don't know how to cut corners. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to keep something back for myself. Once I'm in, I am all in. And this exchange with the music and the place and the sound and the people and the whole vibration, I don't know, it feeds some energy. And even if I'm having difficulties, like sometimes I'm struggling, there might be a technical problem, there might be, I don't know, whatever issue. There's a million. Right. But I take that and I use that to just fuel my fire. So literally I've done some gigs where I'm so angry, like my wife's been there and she's like, baby, I don't know how you're going to do this. Like something has really pissed me off, you know. There's a million situations and I am full of anger. I go on that stage and oh my God, even my wife was like, that was terrifying, babe. Like, where did that come from? You were so, so I tried to transform whatever I'm feeling. Even I've DJ'd recently and I've had some very bad news at a gig. Half an hour before a gig, I've been told that a very dear, most beloved person has died. And it was really, really touched me. And I'm crying and I've got half an hour till I'm on a stage in Panama at a festival where I've flown more than halfway across the world to go and perform. And I'm on the stage crying as I play the first track, and I've had to take the energy from that and also process that and put it out. So I really played with my soul. It's not that I don't play with my soul, but I've had to transform whatever I'm feeling emotionally and put that out in the music, be it musically, be it with my being, be it, I don't even know how to express it in words, but it's all transformation. And I just give whatever I am in that moment and then amplify it, I guess.
Beautiful. I mean, I know you're going to get deep in this interview. I didn't realize the
first question. Where's this going?
But thank you for sharing that. And I can't imagine what it would be like to get a news like that and still be able to perform. So I can't even imagine.
Yeah, even I couldn't, but I can see that actually in all of it there's a gift. And for me, I've come to a realization after so many years that I've actually got a vehicle to express my emotions. Right. I've got a space where I can process. I actually can heal myself. Like I've done gigs where I've been really sick. I've had dengue. I've been in Bangalore actually, and I've had 2 gigs. One of them was the Bacardi blast. There was 2,000 people, UB City outside. And literally, I've had 2 gigs, and I had one at, I have to remember the places and I can't, but anyway. Okay. And on that gig, I had an awful gig. I cried at the gig. I had dengue. I was really sick. They advised me not to play. Yeah. And, somebody pissed me off. The equipment was all a mess, and I told someone to fuck off, which I never
I
do.
can't imagine
They
you
were in
telling
my face. They were
anyone to
like,
fuck
play side, play side. I was like, listen, fuck off. And then the equipment, I was like punching the equipment.
God.
So it wasn't a good day, clearly. If something wasn't working, the cue button, I was like, I can't do this. And I had dengue. I cry at the gig, at the end of the gig, because it's a very emotional space. And I'm like, okay, the next gig, I have to do this differently. This did not work for me.
Yeah.
I'm super sick. I'm not cancelling. I have never, in 3,500 gigs, cancelled a gig.
Wow.
That's something I take it's really important for me. Doesn't matter what happens, I'm there. So they advised me, I did a platelet count. I was under 50,000. They were like, you have to go to hospital. Right. I was like, I'm not going to hospital. I'm going to my gig. Yeah. I'm gonna unleash that energy there. Right. And I'm telling you, that gig, I gave everything. I don't even know how I didn't fly off the stage. I went completely mental. I sweated like a pig. I was crazy. I was more crazy than I've ever been. Yeah. The next day, my platelet count went up by 100,000 units. That music, that moment, that processing, that was healing.
Wow. Amazing. And I understand that growing up, you didn't even want to be a DJ. You wanted to be a mathematician.
That's correct. But maths,
how can I even imagine you being anybody else but a DJ?
So I think I could be many things. I think DJing, obviously, I've been doing it for so long and people know me for it. But I feel like I love to have this feeling, which is I could do anything. Yeah. And I really believe that. If given opportunity, we can all do anything. There's no limitations, you know, just be in that moment and express yourself. Right. So I'd like to think that DJing doesn't just define who I am. Like, I didn't put DJ in front of my name because I always felt like I'm so much more than one thing, you know? Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, DJing's a big part of who I am, but I could have been a mathematician.
Could you still be one?
No. Brain cells have definitely been damaged by a debaucherous life of, yeah. I feel you. Yeah, no, I'm sure I've definitely lost a few cells. I find it hard to remember a few lines. If at the end of this you ask me to say, hi, I'm da-da-da, I'll only just remember my name. That's all I remember.
That's all we need to know. So growing up, were you like a math nerd? Like, what was your childhood like?
I'm a product of Asian parents living in the UK. My father's a lawyer. So I definitely had a lot of pressure to be academically very successful. And I wasn't. You know, I don't like examinations. I don't perform well in the more kind of binary way of educating. I much prefer life experiences as my education. I learn the best that way. I have to live it. I can't read it from a book. Definitely in terms of storytelling, wonderful. I love reading, but learning like that is not the way that I learn. Right. I learn by experience, not by rote. I'm not a parrot or a pigeon. You know, I'm a person, you know. No, I'm a princess. Yes, we'll stick with that one. Yeah.
So, talking about learning, I know that you were born in Africa, you then moved to the UK, and you've been in India for a while. So, what did you learn from all these three different parts in you know, areas of your life, and which one do you connect to the most?
Ooh. Well, I've learned that I'm quite global. I can travel in any country. I feel like I'm I'm not from anywhere. So I don't feel 100% at home in the UK anymore because I've not lived there for 30 years. I feel home here, but then I also realize my mindset's really different because I grew up in the UK and I wouldn't say I was very Indian in my mindset or even in my way of life, you know? So yeah, I feel like I'm from everywhere
Yeah.
and I belong to nowhere, and I find that actually quite liberating. And I feel like I can go anywhere. Put me on Mars, I'll figure it. I'll figure it.
We'll do the next interview.
next interview. Yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah.
I'm counting that as a deal. You're taking me to Mars now.
Let's do this.
Done.
So I know that when you came to India, and this was of course a while back, you had a very interesting way of sort of starting off your musical journey. I understand you were selling cassettes in Goa.
On the beach.
Wow. What was that experience?
I mean, you probably weren't even born then. How old are you, Sid? Come on, announce to everybody.
I'm 22 now.
Oh my God. I think, bullshit.
I'm 32. I was born in 92.
Okay, so I came here in 93, 31 years ago.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a different place to where we are now, you know. So I came to India not knowing, first of all, I came to discover India because I wasn't very Indian. And then secondly, to discover myself, because who the fuck was I? And I'm still discovering myself.
Yeah.
And also I had no idea what I was going to do with my life. I had no career plan. So all of this kind of India gave me a lot of that information, you know. So yeah, I was on the beach. I'd been going clubbing in the UK and I'd been blown away by the clubbing community, especially the psytrance clubbing community. There were some amazing places with life-changing experiences. So I came to India, I was in the beach in Goa, and there were people selling tapes, really dirty, cheap, horrible, tacky music, like either full-on psychedelic or, I don't know, just it wasn't the music that I thought needed to be here. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to bring the music from the UK that I listen to, and I'm going to put it together, and I am going to see if I can sell those. And from there, we are here.
Putting those tapes together.
Oh my God, that's a really good question. Do you know how many power cuts were in those days?
Power cuts.
So I bought a tape to tape, a simple, you know, like a Sanyo or a Sony or a Panasonic. One tape, 2 tapes.
Okay.
And I would just put the master.
Okay.
I'd make my master tape.
Okay.
And I would make a copy.
Okay.
And it would be a 90-minute tape. And it would take me 90 minutes to make one tape.
So, okay, so you're getting these...
oh my God, it's so before your time.
Yeah,
you don't even understand. Oh my God.
Technology.
So anyone older than you will clearly get it. Your generation and earlier definitely not going to know what the fuck I am talking about.
Well, were these mixtapes, or are you sort of copying
in the beginning?
The same?
No. Definitely not mixtapes, but they were compilations.
Okay.
So I would take one track from my CDs.
Okay.
In London,
okay.
I spent all my money on music. Every penny I had, I'd buy CDs, buy CDs. So I'd take one track that I really like from an album, another track, and I'd just copy it onto a tape. And that would be the tape, that would be my master tape, and then I would copy it. But it would take 90 minutes to make one tape. So I would spend for the whole week. My store was on a Wednesday at the Goa Flea Market in Anjuna. And I would spend the whole week pushing play record. And many times there were power cuts. I mean, there were so many power cuts in those days before your time. You know, we had lanterns. We used to have candles. And even that really bad quality candle. But anyway, right. So power cut. So the max I could do, if I was lucky and blessed and didn't sleep, you know, I'd hear click. I'd wake up, I'd be like, okay, turn the tape over, play record, go back to bed. Click, I'd be like, okay. If the power went off, I'd be like, oh my God, now I have to start it again. You know, so that's where we were at. And I could make like 30 tapes, 40 tapes in a week.
Wow. And what was your most important learning from that particular phase of your life?
Get a battery backup system.
Let's just say that again.
That's the top tip for the future. What did I learn? Well, I learned how to do all of this. I learned how to make all these funky covers. I don't know how to, Yeah, I learned how to sleep and hear a click and wake up. I mean, yeah, I think the whole process was, it's been a constant learning. I'm still learning, never stop learning, you know. If you stop learning, I think you're dead.
Yeah.
You're already ready for your grave. I don't know, it was a very beautiful time, you know.
Yeah.
It was, I would say, it was a lot of innocence.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just going with the flow. Everything was new. I was meeting incredible people.
Yeah.
It's very different to where we are now, where there was no Instagram, there were no mobiles. There were, I mean, it was a whole nother existence.
Absolutely. Very interesting. And I'm sure, like you said, it was a very innocent, very simpler time to where we are today. So, yeah, and kudos for doing all of that. I mean, I'm sure it was not easy at all.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't easy at all. And other people, they were going to parties and they were, you know, and I was just like, whilst I love having a fun and enjoying life, I need a focus.
Right.
I get kind of bored.
Right.
And I like to be creative. So even in lockdown, I just, you know, I can sit here for a couple of days. I can watch a couple of movies, but then after that, I'm kind of like, okay, I need to do something. I'm a woman of action.
Right.
I love action.
Right.
If you ask me any situation, I have to have action. If someone says, no, we'll take care of it, I'm like, no, I need to own it. Action.
Right.
So I tackle every problem
Yeah.
by action, not by sitting. So any problem I have which requires me to do nothing, I'm like, oh, I'm feeling uncomfortable with that. You know, my comfort zone is action.
Yeah, no, I absolutely can relate to that. And I think most of our team can relate to that as well. We talk about action all the time. And we feel that makes the biggest difference in anything that you want to do.
Absolutely. Right? If you participate in it, the more you put in, I mean, I think it's so logical.
Yeah.
Energy in, energy out.
Right. Absolutely.
And when you participate in something, you get the most rewarding experience. And when you own that experience, and when I say own, I don't mean like, oh yeah, I paid for that. I mean, owning is actually the doing.
Right.
Owning is actually taking responsibility and accountability for that and those actions. I think that's the most powerful. Amazing.
So that was an interesting phase of your life. I want to quickly move over to another.
Yeah, because that's 27 years ago. How are we going to get to now? We'll be here till tomorrow. We'll be sleeping here. No gig will happen. Get cancelled. Interview challenge.
I just love talking to you, Ma. I can't stop. So yeah, moving on to, you know, another interesting phase of your life and a very interesting fact that I got to know about you was that your first gig was booked by Abhay Deol, the actor.
Yeah.
What?
That is a story. I know. Do you know the randomness of life? Like, yes, so I was living in Pune, and Abhay was studying in Pune at the Film Institute. He was young, and so was I. So we're talking 1998. I even have the little flyer. So he decided to do a party with his girlfriend at the time. And yeah, I was playing in the ashram. I was just starting, you know, and he asked me to play. And actually that party was, I think one of the first ones I got paid at. Right. You know?
Wow. Was it like a Bollywood party?
No, of course it wasn't. Okay. It was, in fact, I think there were very few Indians there. It was mainly foreigners and people from the ashram. And yeah, it was, I would say, no, there was no Bollywood at all.
Wow.
I mean, I was the DJ. And I was playing off mini discs.
Okay.
My first gig, I played using tapes.
Wow.
So can you imagine a tape? I mean, you have to flip that baby over, you got to forward it, you got to rewind it. You can't just, like now people have no idea how effortless everything is.
Yeah, we take it for granted, to be honest.
Yeah. If you haven't been there since, you know, I've seen the whole journey. I've been part of it, every format imaginable. So I've gone from smoke signals to mobile technology. Do you know what I mean? That's how I feel. I feel like, oh my God, I've been the caveman to now. Because all those technologies I've witnessed, you know.
All right. So getting your first gig from Abhay Deol and now to being called the mother of electronica.
Hard work, huh? Works hard. It wasn't,
Nothing was
energy
given
from
to
the
you.
sky.
Yeah.
No, I think more than most,
Yeah.
I really had to
Yeah.
show my talent. Looking like I look,
Yeah.
as a woman, I look really different. I'm definitely non-binary, much more gender fluid. Many people don't even see that I'm a woman. Even when I Google Ma Faiza, the next question is Ma Faiza male or female, or a man or woman, which really kind of in the beginning would hurt me, because I'm just a big, strong woman.
Right.
But okay, that's the question that everybody asks. So I could never capitalize on even my femininity or being a woman. Even though I have talent, I had to really work on the talent. I didn't know doors were opened for me. I was never a cool cat.
Right.
I didn't look right. I definitely, I'm so out there that you couldn't fit me in a box.
Right.
So I just had to smash all the boxes and be who I am,
Right.
I couldn't cater to a commercial crowd. I couldn't cater to the cool crowd. So the music I was playing, people didn't even know it. And I refused to compromise that. That's my truth. That's my voice. And that's what I'm sharing.
Right.
So it was definitely a lot harder for me. But that journey got me to here.
Yeah.
That journey reinforced my own truths, because I really had to believe in myself, even in my darkest days. That journey, it wasn't quick. It was long. And it's still going on. And that journey brought me so many insights and knowledge and experiences, even when they were challenging. If everything's too easy, I don't know how you can own it. The struggling, the pain, and the dilemmas, and the having to reach deeper inside yourself, I think that's the growth.
Right.
If everything's handed on a plate to you, how do you even deconstruct that?
That's right. We definitely want to talk about your uniqueness and the challenges that you faced, which I definitely have a few questions around.
Questions there, for sure.
But I'm really curious about this title of the Mother of Electronica.
I think it's just because I'm so old. I think that's what it was. See, it started off with Ma, and now at the tail end, I shall be Grandma. I'll go from being the Mother of Electronica to one day in the press, they'll be like, this is the grandma of electronic music. And then it's just like, oh my God, that's where we've got to. But I think having the Ma is what gave that life to the mother. I think if I'd just been DJ, whoever, I don't know that journey, and everything happened for a reason. Ma Faiza happened not with any thought in my brain of anything other than that moment. I didn't think it strategically. I didn't think, oh my God, I'll be like Ma Faiza and everybody will like fucking worship me, man. There was just there was no thought. I was stumbling, jumping in puddles, and this was a puddle I jumped in. There was nothing more than that. There wasn't a strategy or marketing, or it was so far away. I was a hippie, and at that. Yeah. So I can only go backwards and see how have I got here, and maybe interpret it. And maybe I'm wrong, but I think just having the Ma Faiza gave a narrative for the mother to appear.
Right.
I hope it wasn't motherfucker. I do hope it wasn't that. So there you go. I'm hoping it came from the right direction.
Do you remember when somebody first, you heard about this title?
I think it's a good 20 years ago. It just appeared. I think mother, I don't know. There must have been some narrative from somewhere that started that. And even the Ma came in another way. It sounds so contrived, but actually everything was so innocent. Because we live in a very different world now than then. And I was different. the world was different. So I think there was everyone says there was this innocence.
Right.
You'll hear yourself, when you get to 50, you'll be like, I remember those times. I was so innocent. It was so I think in those early stages of everything, there's kind of an innocence. So I don't even remember when it came up. But then there became many monikers. So like the Empress of Electronica, because the E and the E, it sounds, I think, and now I wouldn't change it for the world.
Right.
I don't know how you could create the feeling I feel like people have with me. I think it goes beyond the music.
Right.
I think it goes beyond my identity. I think it's something that's a connection that you can't even express.
Right.
Many people say to me, I don't know why I like your music, or I don't know why. Last night, Gohati, one of the team said to me, Ma Faiza, I need to be honest with you. I'm like a hip hop commercial kind of person. I'm not really into techno. I book techno artists, but I don't really enjoy it. But he was like, your music? He said, I was dancing. I felt energized. So I think, somehow energy goes its own way, and that's the same with the whole mother thing.
Right.
And now I'm just living it, and now I've gone beyond mother. It's grandmother. Oh my God.
You're fine.
Well, yeah, not far off.
So you're obviously a very spiritual person, Ma, right? Even most of the things that you talk about. So we're really curious about your spiritual journey. I know that you lived in an ashram a while back as well. So just talk us through that. How did you really stumble upon this side of existence? And what's your spiritual journey been like over the, many, many years?
I think I believe in asking questions. My idea of life is question everything. And I think my own experiences with partying, clubs, community, I really was a hippie. I was going to so many parties and festivals around the world. I think I've explored many different dimensions. I've tried to understand things and go beyond what we've been told in everything. I think that's what life is, find your own way. So I think my spiritual kind of journey is with the music, which does, music is vibrations, and we vibrate. There's a resonance. Right. Our organs vibrate, our environment vibrates, and we vibrate, even our voice, our own vibration of our own voice. It's all energy. Right. So I think for me, the music brings me a lot of spiritual questioning, spiritual peace, maybe understanding. And I think as well, questioning everything and making sure that I've had as many different experiences in as many different dimensions and planes. I think that has brought me to maybe a lot of knowledge, because I've questioned everything. Right. And then I try to process whatever experiences and whatever I can learn from it. So I would say that I believe in energy. I'm an energy junkie. If someone says, oh, let's climb that mountain, I'm like, yes, let's do it. Let's jump out of the plane. I'm like, yeah, let's do that. Like any energetic experience, right. I love exchanging energies. So I think in that, all of that kind of brings me to maybe some, like I want to be a conscious, sentient being. Right. I don't want to be an unconscious person. Right. My journey is about growing, learning, processing, letting go, right. Trying to understand, but even not understanding it also right. doesn't matter. But like that journey. Yeah,
and I think sorry to cut you off. I think people feel that way when they meet you as well, right? Like I think I feel more present just being around you, right? Like I feel like, okay, I'm just more vigilant. I'm more conscious.
I think present
more
is
present, exactly.
There's an art to that, being right. present.
Yeah.
And I think that's very powerful. Yeah. I think for many DJs as well, that's a beautiful part of their work, right. is that when you're up there, when you're doing anything I think you have to be there in the moment. I mean, we should all be everywhere in the moment,
Yeah.
but that's very hard to do. That's
It
what
is.
meditation is.
Yeah.
All of the meditations, all the different meditations are all about bringing you right here, right now,
Right.
here. So DJing, I see some of the best DJs for me are the ones that are right there
Yeah.
in the moment.
Right.
And if you can be in that moment right there, I think that's the art.
Yeah.
That's what you can take away from it.
Yeah.
So what I've managed to do, I think, and bring it back to my life, you know, work and life, it's all kind of like this, especially when you're a DJ. It's all very kind of one big blobby mess of life and work and, well, what's work and what's life.
Yeah.
But what I can bring back bring from that, my learning is I try to be present in all the moments. So when I'm with people, I want to be present with them. When I'm doing a certain thing, I want to be really present there.
Yeah.
And I think this has given me a tool for life.
Yeah.
How to kind of tap in and be present. Because when I'm DJing, I'm not in my mind. I'm not even in my body.
Yeah.
And literally, I have had to overcome physical pain. So an ear infection, a really bad tooth problem, a headache, a death. I mean, I've had to really, dog bite. I've had to, whatever it's been, I've had to be present and ignore everything that's going on. You know, dengue. And that is the gift for me. I can be in that moment and nothing matters. And I am pure energy. I feel like I'm not human.
Well,
because I'm not in my body. You know, I'm not in my body. I'm not in my mind. There's a timelessness that occurs. I feel 100% present. I'm watching the crowd. I'm in the place. I'm watching the equipment. But I'm so present that it's effortless.
Yeah.
I think that art should be somehow effortless because you're present.
Yeah.
And I'm not conscious of anything other than that moment. I'm not in the moment ahead. I'm not in what happened a moment before. I have to be fully present. And if I'm not, the audience will know. Yeah. And I will know. I'm still trying to find getting there. You know, I'm still arriving. Yeah. And then after a gig, the problem is I'm still there. It takes time to move energies, you know? Yeah. So even after a gig, I need a couple of hours. You know, after a gig, everybody's just like, Mama, photo. Mama, Mama. And I'm just kind of like, okay. You know, if you ask me any question after I've DJ'd, my answer would be, I don't know. Because I'm not quite there yet. I'm still...
Yeah. Especially like when I get out of a gig and I'm like driving back home, or once I actually get home and I'm just like sort of processing everything that's happened. Yeah. Oh my God, it's just like...
You're replaying it all.
Yeah, it's really hard to get out of that moment and come back to reality.
I think that's a lonely place for many artists. I think that's a dangerous place because you're elevated energetically. Let's not talk about, you know, elevated because of the person that you are, but just energetically with all the energies, depending on the crowd. If it's 10,000 people, if it's 100 people, there's an exchange of energies, you know, and you've also got an energy with the actual place. Many people don't even count the environment that you're in is also giving you energy, you know, and you've got to go back. You're being elevated like you're a god. Right. And in that moment, maybe you also feel like a god. Yeah. And then you go home to your sad little hotel room and your sad little life. You know, I describe it like, there's two analogies I have. Before a gig, I'm a ballerina. Yeah. And I'm about to do a performance, you know, and I'm going to have to do twirls and jumps. I'm a ballerina. So I need half hour, 1 hour before the gig of silence, not really thinking, because I'm preparing for my ballerina performance. Right. And after the gig, I'm a boxer, and I've come from the ring. In the ring, I'm holding up the belt. I've obviously won. Yeah. and I'm like, yes, and I get to the hotel room and I jump in the shower and I'm the broken boxer with all the aches and the bruises and the pain. That's how I feel. Wow. I know they're quite strong analogies, but that's really how I feel. After the gig, it's euphoria, it's wow, I get to the hotel room, you're alone with yourself, you have to process what's going on, and usually I'm coming back to my body, so hurts, and oh, that hurts, and so I think that's the only way I can describe it.
I think it's a great way to explain it, and I'm sure all DJs or most DJs who are listening to this will definitely relate to it. And folks who don't know what this feels like, I think that's a great way to explain it. Just sort of continuing on the theme of music and spirituality, I know that you've also DJ'd at an ashram, so that sounds really unique and exciting. Can you just tell us a little bit about that? What is that experience like, and how different is it from DJing a party?
Yeah, I've DJed actually a lot of different things. I've performed in many different environments which were more about healing or wellness or self-expression rather than hedonistic, free-for-all kind of club environment, So even DJing in a club where no alcohol, no shoes, no smoking, that has a whole different energy field, or DJing in an ashram where, I don't know, people are already on a journey for looking for something, seeking whatever their journey is, answers to questions or enlightenment or peace or processing. I think that's also a magical environment. I also have DJed in Germany in a concept where people are floating in the water, and the water is thermally heated salt water, so you float.
Oh, okay. It's like one of those flotation tanks.
Yeah, but it's not a tank. It's a huge pool, and many pools, and they've got light projections on steam. They have speakers inside the water, under the water. They have lights all inside the water, and you can't swim. There's a sign, no swimming.
You're just floating.
You're just floating.
Wow.
And they do, I don't know, them playing music to people under the water. Now, come on. That's pretty out there, because when you hear under the water, you hear differently. Your whole body is like an ear. So frequencies, you translate them differently under the water. And you're also surrendering because you're floating. So those kind of, having the chance to be part of those kind of concepts, I just love it. For me, they're the best. Concepts where there's no alcohol, no drugs, even no shoes. People are in swimming costumes or bikinis, I love much more conscious events, concepts where there's growth. I think, just this excessive, hedonistic, that's okay. We all need moments of that. I think a little bit of madness, a little bit of crazy. I DJ'd in Israel at a party already 20 years ago, and they were doing a meditation, and it was a 7-hour meditation called the Om meditation, which has 12 stages, and it's a very, very intense meditation. And I DJ'd immediately after that. And I can't tell you the energy of the people. I felt like I started the first track after a 7-hour meditation with 500 crazy Israelis in the middle of a desert, a llama farm. And literally people's feet just flew up in the air, and people were in ecstasy with no drugs and no alcohol, just pure energy. So for me, I think that's my buzz, being an energy junkie. Give me energy, I'm down for that. Let's exchange energy, I'm down for that. The whole imbibing many different things and a real hedonistic energy, I just think that's not sustainable.
That sounds beautiful, Ma. Thank you so much for sharing all of those wonderful experiences. I can't even imagine what this would feel like. I mean, like DJing to a bunch of people who are essentially in a flotation tank. I mean, they're just like, oh my God, wow.
There's been a lot of different possibilities that I've experienced. And that's why, for me, I would say at this point in my life that the gigs in clubs with very little consciousness doesn't bring me as much joy as I've experienced in other things.
I can imagine.
And I really I love consciousness. I love being, I feel like if there's in an experience, if there's nothing to grow or learn, then what was that experience? You know, we can also learn from silence. I'm not, you know, and I feel like we're in a world right now where full on energy is, people want to have that 24/7, and that's not real. You know, energy actually moves in so many different ways. So I feel like, you know, parties till all night that go on forever, they never stop, and then the after party of the after party of the after party. Okay, do that a couple of times in your life. Why not experience that? But that's just not sustainable. And I think people are losing the magic of what the possibilities could be.
So I'm so glad that you spoke about concepts, because the first time that we ever met was at Cercle, and that was such a unique gig as well, because it was in the middle of a temple in Kerala. There was obviously, you know, alcohol. You're opening for Colin, which is, you know, he's one of my absolute favorite artists of all time, and that was just such a unique and special experience. So I'm really curious about that. How did that gig really happen? And, you know, how was your experience as a whole?
I would say that everybody there, first of all, anyone who was there would have had an experience that they will never forget. And that was because it was different from everything else. It was because it was on a land which was created energetically to honor, Jatayu, the eagle, the bird. It was so much energy. It was in the middle of nature. It was a temple. There was no alcohol. You're never going to forget that. So I feel like already that experience as something that people would treasure. Like I met so many different people who were from all over the place who were like, Ma, I met you at Cercle, and oh my God, what, you know? So I think you can see it was an effort to get there. If you managed to get tickets, you basically had to, as soon as the tickets opened, you were like, okay, when the first minute, you had to get your ticket. Otherwise it was sold out. You know? So I think that had value and energetically made it even more special for people. Then I think the place itself, I think the fact that there was no alcohol was really beautiful. I just think that, you know, you've got to be up for doing something differently. If it's just cut and paste the same, where's the knowledge? Where's the experience? Where's the challenge of processing whatever's happening? I think as well, you know, like I was given a brief. How I got the gig, they gave a list of 5 names and they selected me. And I had a couple of gigs. I had a psychedelic gig, a gig where I'm playing psychedelic music, I think the same weekend. And Cercle people got a little bit anxious because they were like, Ma Faiza, this is the brief. Like you literally have to play a certain type of music, and, you know, half hour before Colin comes on, you will have to take the music even more down. You cannot go over a certain BPM. And I was like, don't worry, boys. Don't worry. I do loads of different things. Please don't judge me on anything don't judge me. I'm going to deliver. Don't worry. Because for them, they have a lot of issues with the opening DJs. As I also have these issues where the opening DJ thinks they're the star and is banging it. And even myself, I've got to go on, and I've specified a certain energy and a certain BPM, which gives me the space to come on and start where I want to. And I struggle for the first half hour because I'm bringing it back to then take it forward because the DJ has just banged it, you know? So they're very, very particular, and they even have gigs where they brief the DJ before and they're very, very clear, and still when the main act goes on, they literally, for the first half hour, struggle because of the DJ before. So several people actually were really happy because I even was briefed that I had to take it to 120 BPM before Colin, and I couldn't go over 120. And I was on like, I think I ended on 113 BPM, and people were dancing. People screamed.
It was a beautiful set.
Thank you.
One of the best opening sets I've ever heard, and I've not heard you play that down-tempo music
That's
ever.
because you're so young. Years ago, that would have been. That's my art.
Right.
Really, like I was always hired to do like close a floor, open a festival. We're going to silence. We're coming from silence. It's psychedelic. We now need to go to chill out. Okay, we're on progressive. Now we're going to chill out. Okay, it's chill out. Now the next act will be psychedelic. So I literally was always given this job of being able to go from 0 to this or from this to 0, you know, and not be BPM based. Like when many DJs are banging it before I come to my set, I'm listening to them and I'm like, you're banging it. You could have reduced the tempo. It didn't need to. You can make people dance in ecstasy with 0 BPM. 0 BPM. It's not BPM based. Joy is not. You know, you can build energy from silence. But you have to know how to navigate all of that.
Yeah.
It can be more powerful if it's got a spiritual content and there's space for the audience to connect to the music. You know, I think it can be more spiritually rewarding for anyone attending when they can actually have space to connect. You know, if it's just there's no time to process, there's no space to. How can you connect, you know? So I think everyone at Cercle will treasure it because it was different.
It was. It really was. And like I said, your set was absolutely amazing. I know you recorded it and uploaded it as well. We've heard it a bunch of times after that as well. So, it was just such a special and unique experience. So thank you.
No, thank you, because every single person who was there was part of that.
Right.
Like I can't create that on my own.
Right.
Even standing at Jatayu with no audience, with nobody there, I don't know that I would have played that. What came to me was a moment in time and space. Nothing is prepared for me.
Okay.
So I just go with my feelings. So that was a time, space, people. That was a moment, and it's encapsulated in the set that's recorded.
Right.
But without the audience, it wouldn't have been what it was either. Right. So actually, even when people come to me and they say, "Ma, I'm here for you. I've just come here for you." I'm like, you know what? I just came for you. And they're like, yeah, but you know, you made the night. I'm like, but you made the night. Because if no me and no you, it's this moment in time and space. The audience is as valuable as every part of that experience.
Right.
So every single person who was there and present was part of that experience.
Beautiful.
I can't own it as singular. Nothing is singular.
Beautiful.
Everything is connected.
That's really beautiful, man. Thank you so much. And so we've sort of spoken, you know, in bits and pieces across your whole journey since you started, and you know, a few decades after that. I'm curious, were there like a few pivotal moments, or was there like just this one moment where you realized, oh shit, things really getting, you know, they're crazy now, things are getting real now, like I'm actually becoming this person that I've always wanted to be as an artist, as an individual. So yeah, my question is, was there this pivotal moment, or were there a few pivotal moments across those years?
Do you know, I think that's a really good question. And there have been moments where I thought they were pivotal. So for example, I remember getting a gig in Israel, 2002 maybe. So we're talking 22 years ago. Excuse me. So 22 years ago in Israel, and I'm closing for Infected Mushroom, my heroes at that time. I am closing, and it's just me and Infected Mushroom. And I'm in this area, it's a white building, everything is white, 10,000 people. My name is on the side of a bus. Wow. Literally, there was Ma Faiza and Infected Mushroom. Wow. And you can imagine, these are the early days of my career, 22 years ago, 2002. I'd say I started around 98. So that's only like 4 years in. And my name's on the bus. They've asked me to do an interview. I am in the newspaper. I have got a 2-page pullout of a newspaper. I'm like, oh my God, they wanted Ma Faiza. This is amazing. This is it. Yeah. I've made it. It's going to launch me. Oh my God, this is it. Oh my God, this is it. I've reached the big time. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. The actual gig, nightmare, disaster. I cried at that gig. So, how you could think, I was like, okay, this is it. This is the moment of all moments. It's going to change my life. Infected Mushroom played. They finished. I played one track. I was hidden. They were at the front. No one saw me. I played one track while everybody left. I was elevator music. One track. And then, because everybody was leaving, they just cut my main sound. I'm standing on there having monitors, not even knowing main sound has been cut. I played one track. Then I come off the stage. I'm in shock. I'm playing elevator music to people leaving. This was not what I'd imagined. Then I go to the kind of green room area. I'm kind of in shock. I'm crying, and an organizer comes to me and says, "Hey, Ma Faiza, great set. Thank you so much." And I'm like, "Oh my God, why did you just stab me? Because you're lying. Oh my God, it's lies. I lied to myself. They lied to me. Everyone's a liar. Oh my God." I literally, that was the icing on the cake. When someone comes to you, you've played like 4 minutes of music, you're the elevator music, and they come to you and say, "Wow, that was amazing." You're like, dude, fuck you. If you hadn't have said that, I could have at least believed it. But now you've said that, you have murdered me. In fact, I wasn't even important. Yeah. So, for me, that was like in my head, pivotal. Oh my God, that's it. Reality, it wasn't that at all. Wow. So my answer to that question is, there are many moments in time and space where you think, this is it. Yeah. This is the one. I'm telling you, it probably isn't. And the one that probably made all the difference, you probably never even imagined it would. And you probably, even afterwards, don't know what importance it had for you. Wow. Like most important things, they're not the thing in the package that's shiny and is easy to digest. The most probably important pivotal moments are probably the most challenging, and they don't come gift wrapped. And you might not know how precious they were until a lot later.
That is such a good answer, man. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, that's my answer.
That's beautiful. And so we spoke about moments. I also want to talk about people in your life, right? Obviously, anything that an artist does, especially someone at your caliber, it can't be just a one-person show. There's so many people who are part of this journey.
Absolutely.
So who do you feel are those people who have really sort of been there and, just been part of your journey for, however many years? I just want to understand, like, what kind of people have you been surrounded with? And what kind of value have, that's been shared between the people that you've been around with?
First, I would say my audience. Every single person who comes to my gig and who comes with love in their heart, trusting that they're going to have a fantastic night. I feel like that connection with them is something so precious, and I really value that. There are so many people who come to my gigs and they have a story, just like for you. Right. You come and you say, the first time I met you was at Cercle. I meet so many people who, even in Guwahati, the guy comes on the stage, he's like, "Ma, I met you 20 years ago. I was a student. It was 2005. I heard you for the first time." Like, everybody has these stories. And for them, I just say, thank you. Thank you. That they're what made it. No audience, no DJ. Right. So first, I have to say the audience who've shown up for the first time, or the audience who've shown up for the 100th time, the audience who come and they bring sweet little virgins who've never been before to deflower. Okay, sacrifice is another one, but to deflower at the gig and to see these sweet little virgins at the end of the gig, and their whole face is just transformed, and they're kind of like, I have seen the light. I have witnessed at the altar. You know, like, really?
Yeah.
That's. Yeah. I don't think there's anything more precious than that.
Wow.
But you're right. I have a whole support team, from assistants to my manager to now, of course, my amazing wife, who's there through it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, like. But first, I would say it's really the people that come. I think I am nothing without every single person that comes to the gigs. And I don't judge anybody for their experience. My arms are open wide, and I want to embrace everybody. And there are many gigs I do where I feel like I just had sex with everybody at that gig. No, really, it's so intimate. I feel like we just all had sex. It was like a massive orgy.
Everyone just sweating afterwards.
Forget that. Energetically, I've given every bit of myself, and the audience has given every bit of themselves. I'm sorry, when do you do that? For me, that's like great sex. Imagine having sex with everybody in the room. I don't know what they look like naked. I've not kissed anybody, but that's how I feel on an energetic level. I've plugged into everybody. Everybody's plugged into me, and I don't know how to express it other than this really powerful, enriching experience, you know, where you're so connected. It's beyond words, it's beyond language, it's beyond even probably our understanding, you know?
Wow. I don't even have words. I think we can probably just end the interview here, and we can all just go home.
Haven't you felt that?
Absolutely.
I mean, surely as an audience, don't you feel sometimes I feel so connected?
Absolutely.
Even you meet someone, I'm sure at Cercle, you must have met some people who you're still in touch with.
Absolutely.
And you never met before.
100%.
So those moments are catalysts of sharing your intimate self, you know, no masks, letting go, being present, being open to the moment. You know, someone goes, hey, hi, and you're not like, who's this weirdo? Like, what do they want? You're like, hey, hi. You know, like when you go to a festival and someone will be like, I really like your t-shirt. You look amazing. And you go, I really like your hat. And then when you meet them again at the festival, you even see them, you're like, hi, I did. Yeah, we all want to be connected. That's, as humans, that's our joy is feeling connected. So in that moment, when you can connect to other people and connect to whoever, that's really intimate and really deep and incredibly powerful. You know?
And do you think that experience and that culture has somewhere shifted? Because what I want to understand from you is, since you've seen this industry since its origin, essentially, right? Since it started, like, what's really changed since then? And what are some of the things that you feel proud of where we are today? And what are some of the things that you would probably change?
Good question. My God, so many good questions. I think we're in a great space in terms of, I'm speaking about India right now. There has been such a huge shift in people's consumption of music and the different styles of music. It used to be very kind of, you know, and I think music is so powerful. It changes people's directions in life. Music becomes your friend. Music can change your job. Music changes your thoughts. Music gives you a different community that is around you. Your peers maybe change. Your fashion maybe changes. The drugs you take, how you live your life, it's all going to have an impact on you, okay? So music is a very powerful part of that, you know? So first of all, there's been a huge shift in consciousness of the people, because the music is affecting people and changing people and bringing different people together. And I see a lot of people that listen to very different music probably have a very different job. You know, they don't have a traditional job or a traditional outlook. So music, you cannot underestimate the power of frequencies and music. Okay.
Right.
So that's the first thing. India's had a huge shift, and I think that's incredibly positive. 20 years ago, if you played drum and bass or jungle, you know, there was literally like two people that would be like, I can relate to that. Now there are so many diverse pockets of different styles of music that I think it's incredible that there's an audience for that and that people understand that and people live that music in their daily lives, you know? Great thing. I think what concerns me about what's happening, I think, in India right now is that it's a bit full on, you know? Everything's a bit full on. It seems to be like mass consumption of music, of people, of places, of maybe emulating what you think you want to have there, but is it really what should be there? I think we're still in that, you know, bringing artists from abroad, doing concepts that maybe are not actually coming from a space of this place, but trying to cut and paste experiences from other countries or, you know, and I think that's what concerns me is that, yeah, I feel like, give an example, most festivals will have headliners, they will not be Indian, they'll fly in, they'll take their big fat fees and they'll leave. They won't even spend probably 1 rupee in this country. Then you have hundreds of really talented Indian content, be it DJs, be it artists, be it producers, okay? You've got all this content, but very few festivals will rely on that Indian content and they will cut and paste Western content to try and bring the audience. I think that's a mistake. It's changing. Like I was just at this amazing festival in Manali, in the mountains in Himachal, okay, called Space Tech. 75 artists, not one foreigner. Every artist, 75 Indian artists, brilliant vibe, brilliant festival, great selection of music, super diverse. More than 50%, I think, were women. I really felt that was a very different concept. It was an amazing festival.
Wonderful.
Amazing. People still talk about it. In fact, I'm in Guwahati. I met a few people who were like, Ma, last time I saw you at Space Tech, what a vibe, what a wow, blah, blah. You know, it was an amazing, and there was not one Western imported artist. It was all homegrown talent. And I really had admiration for the organizers because you take a risk.
Of course.
Some people are like, okay, better I bring Armin van Buren, who's going to drive this party or this festival, you know? And I think that's something that we still need to change. And I also feel like the more conscious partying we can do, so spaces where it's not about what you take, but it's about what you receive. I don't know if that makes sense. So it's not about what you take, but what you receive from that. And I think there needs to be more focus on that.
Wow. Really, really interesting. And one thing that you spoke about was that this festival had a lot of female artists on the lineup, which is pretty rare, right? Especially in India. I mean, we're seeing a lot of female international artists, you know, definitely getting the spotlight, but still in our country that ratio is really skewed, right? Just the number of female artists that even exist for that matter, right?
Well, then there's a judgment. So as a female, like there's the top 100 DJing list that comes out. And when I look at that top 100, they have pictures of all the top 100. Now, when I see myself in that 100, there's 100 pictures. I don't look like anybody else. And there's a kind of, I don't want to say a format, but you've really got to capitalize as a woman. First of all, most men will think you have no talent. And they will assume that you're playing there because you look pretty. So somehow you have to fulfill that. You've got to look pretty. And I think that that's not okay for me, you know? You're coming, you're there. It's not about you being beautiful or being, you know, sexy for your audience. Right. I think to be sexualized as a woman doing your job, that's already a mistake. But unfortunately, there's a lot of women maybe who in this particular world that we live in, who want to be DJs, who aren't focusing on their talent. So they're focusing on getting there quickly, you know, okay, I'm a DJ, I've been playing 2 months now, so I want to gig here and I want to gig there. How do those doors open for them? The doors open for them because it's a very male-dominated scene. The doors open for them if they look sexy. And I just don't want to participate in any of that. So for me, I don't already look like those 100 women, and maybe they get somewhere quicker because they can cash in on maybe the way they look, which I think is a real mistake. Because in the end, that's very temporary. Right. But what lasts is your talent. Right. And if you can focus and feed your talent more than how you look, I think that that's where you'll get the most gain and the most knowledge. And you're also self-perpetuating the whole scene to encourage sexualizing female artists. You know, like I've participated in different research papers for people outside of India who are actually researching how is it for women in the music scene. And most of those answers were, or all of the answers were anonymous. And you'll be shocked to find how many women are sexualized when they work in the music scene, be it any part of the music scene, not just DJs, but producers or promoters, anything. They're really sexualized. It's not a safe place for women. And that needs to change. And that can only change when women get jobs because of talent, not because of the way they look. And when women don't capitalize on their way they look to get the job.
So you're making some really interesting points, right? I've got two similar questions. The first one is for those good-looking, beautiful artists who are out there who are saying that, you know what, I look good and I want to flaunt it. So who are you to tell me that this is not the right way to do it? So that's number one. Number two, my other question is for artists, or rather for girls who are still, you know, kind of thinking about becoming a DJ but are kind of self-conscious about the way that they look. What message do you have for both of these girls in our audience?
Make it about the music. You're not there to look pretty, you know, otherwise you'd just be a figure on a cake. You're a real person. It's about the music. You go there to play music. How you look should actually be irrelevant. It's about the music at the end of the day. So if your focus is about looking pretty, I mean, great. If God has given you that and you look beautiful, I mean, well done, congratulations. But you still have to go there and play the music. You know, the lipstick you're wearing is not going to play the track. You know, you have to have that. And your whole existence will be built on the way you look. And in the end, it will come to bite you on the ass. Because in the end, you'll be like, look, people are just booking me. They don't care what I play. No one's treating me with respect. Everybody's sexualizing me.
Right.
Where's the self-respect and your own journey and your own pride in why people book you? You know, give an example. I was in Goa when Sunny Leon, she did a gig at Hammers. She DJ. Okay, that's a very broad term, DJ.
Right.
Okay, so she went to play. Do you think the audience that went there, like, I met some of the people who were promoting that event, and they said never in their life have they seen men with these eyes of absolute hunger. You He said it was such a different expression on people's faces, and he has never seen a crowd that behaved like dogs. They were like, "Ah," you know, like they want to get in, droves and droves of people. They've never seen anything like that. Why? Because Sunny Leon was a porn star. People haven't come to see her DJing. They've come because she's a porn star. And that woman, I mean, she has to carry herself in that whole situation. But let's not lie. No one came to hear Sunny Leon DJ. And if they did, they wanted to laugh at her. They wanted to say, oh, I'm just going to hear how shit she was. That's not taking anything away from what she's done or what she's carved, but let's just be, that's honest, you know? So what career do you want to have? Do you want to have a career where you're respected for what you bring, you know, in your talent? Or do you want to be sexualized? And as women, I think that's very limited, and you have a very limited life. You know, you turn 50, I don't know that you fit now the image that you've created for yourself, you know?
And again, the second part of the question is the girl who's watching at home who's still thinking, should I become a DJ? Am I hot enough? Like, you know, she's really struggling making that decision.
Go for it. Just be you. Do you. Who gives a shit what you look like? Create your persona. Own something else. And focus on your talent. If you're not expressing yourself in your true honesty, regardless of whether the audience want it or not, you're going to have to start from that place. But you have to hold on to that, you know. And having talent, for me, having content in the storeroom means more than what's in the window. You know, like looking like this, maybe that doesn't challenge you to even push yourself to be a better human being, to engage people, to have intelligence, you know, when everything is too easy. And we're also all very superficial. Let's go deeper now. So I would say anyone, doesn't matter. I mean, excuse me, I know people in wheelchairs who are DJs.
Right.
Now what do? They can't even dance. They're in a wheelchair. And they still go there, play their set. Is it then about, okay, how can you DJ when you don't have legs? I mean, those people, we're going beyond all of that. Go beyond your body, go beyond your image, go beyond what you look like, go beyond even your perception, and be there and do it and live it.
Beautiful. Ma, thank you so much for sharing that. And I really hope that these messages get to the people that they're intended for. And I hope that we get to see a lot more female artists joining our community. I
don't even think it has to be female. I think people. So you can be maybe even, I don't want it to be around bodies. It's energy, no? So does it matter if you're maybe, you know, maybe you have mobility issues, maybe you have only one arm, maybe you're blind, maybe maybe you're queer, maybe you're trans, does it matter? I just feel like we need diversity. The more diverse we can show, I think you allow people, you free people to be themselves when other people around are themselves. You know?
Absolutely.
So when you see something that's different, it leads you to question yourself, maybe, and maybe give yourself a chance to express your difference, your diversity. So I think rather than it just being, I hope there's more female DJs, I just hope there's a shitload of different things.
Absolutely.
You know, where it's just about you being a human being, because we really don't want AI to play the music. So first of all, human, and secondly, in all its diversity, you know, like even if you're physically challenged, why can't you be a DJ? Look at Black Coffee, you know, and that's just one example. You know, you don't need even to be able to see to play music. In fact, if you have lost your vision, your other senses are so much more heightened.
Right.
So there should be no limit on music.
Right.
I think that's what I would like
Absolutely.
to see.
I think that's a great
more
message.
Diversity.
That's a
It
great
doesn't
message.
matter who you are, what you are. You're human.
Yeah.
Express yourself.
That's a beautiful message, Ma. And I do want to, ask you a few personal questions as well, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure.
I know that at who you are right now, you're fairly comfortable with your identity and who you are. But when you were a lot younger, when you were, I think, in your early 20s, you did try to take your own life.
I did, yes.
Which is, of course, a pretty difficult decision for anyone. Thankfully, you were unsuccessful at doing that. So the question I want to ask you is that what was going through your mind at that point of time, and what do you want to say to the 21-year-old out there who has similar stuff going through their mind?
Yeah, that's a big question. I felt really lost, not understood. I felt abandoned by my family who didn't understand or didn't want me to be me, who wanted a different me, and I didn't want to be that me. I wanted to be the real me, whatever it was, and they found that very challenging. And I just lost faith in myself, and I think I got to the lowest point where I didn't recognize myself anymore. And I decided I wanted to die. I didn't want to live anymore. I'm still here. I do think I did die. A big part of that died because I lived. So I had to transform it. And my advice to anybody, no matter what you're going through, even if you have thoughts of real confusion, you feel not heard, not understood, you feel misjudged, you feel like everybody wants you to be nothing of who you are, people don't want you to be authentic, you don't feel safe to speak your truth, you don't feel you can be authentic, you're under so much pressure either from your parents or your peers or whoever. Just hold on to who you are. You know what? Everything changes. It's a moment in time, and no matter how hard it gets, as you grow older, something even harder will appear. And you've got to have the strength. You've got to have that strength. Believe in yourself. Be you regardless. If being you is the single most important thing in the world, be that. At the end, it doesn't matter what your parents think. It doesn't matter what society thinks. Be you. I know it's really hard. And I think for people, especially talking about queer people, their coming out story for me, I feel like is one of the most important things that they can do, or that we can do, because I'm a queer person. When you come out to your family, to the world at large, you also empower yourself, no matter how disempowering it might feel. Your parents hate you, that I don't know, they want to put you in a mental home, whatever they want to do. You owning that and coming out and me saying, I'm queer, or I'm different, and this is who I am. In that is going to empower you. In that, there is a strength. In that, there is a liberation. In that, you stop the shame that you feel for yourself, So, even in your darkest moments, which we all have, all of us, I don't think there's a single person on the planet who's not thought about ending it all. Who's just like, oh my God, I'm done with this shit. I can't do it. I can't take any more. Even when you work out, there's that one more weight. You're like, no, I can't do it. But you can. So focus on that and believe in yourself and fuck what anyone else thinks. At the end, you live your life. You live with yourself. Your pain is your pain. No one else feels your pain. And when you die, you die. So you've got to it's you. I'm not saying that in a selfish way. We're all connected. But in the end, your experience and who you choose to be are your choices. Nobody can define you.
Right.
That would be what I can gain from my own experiences.
And even today, right, there's a lot of conversation around sexual identity and even for you, right, like a lot of conversation around you is around your sexual identity. Do you feel comfortable talking about these things because they're so personal? Or do you feel that this is a topic that should sort of be put to rest and we should move on and talk about other things?
I think right now in India, it's really important to talk about it because Indians don't talk about anything like that.
Right.
Like how many parents even speak to their children about sexual matters, you know? There's not even sexual education in schools. We're so frightened. It's like a planet which has the most population and clearly has sex, but doesn't speak about it. That's really scary and worrying.
Right.
And I think there's a lot of issues that come from, you know, the lack of kind of
conversation,
you know, in terms of safety of women, in terms of repressed and suppressed sexual energy in men, and it brings up a lot of distortion in life, and we're seeing it now, you know. So I think that actually speaking about it, I think there's two things. One is your gender, which is a whole topic right now for people who may be not comfortable in the gender that they've been given or assigned, or having a kind of gender fluidness. Like for me, I have a size 13 shoe. I got really big hands. I have to kind of wear men's clothes if I go to a shop. There aren't many women's clothes that fit me. So I'm kind of boxed into whatever gender society is assigning me, which is different from how I feel, you know? So sexual identity and gender are also two very different things. So I think people's sexual identity is very personal, but I think it's really important that we talk about it because there's been so lack of talking about it in this country that it's going to continue to give distorted realities to people, you know, and it needs to be a safe place for everybody.
Yeah. And we are really glad that, you know, you've been so open about it. You've been, you know, an inspiration not just for the queer community, but I think for anyone who's different or anyone who's trying to be themselves, right? So I think we all really look up to you in that sense, and we're all really grateful for you being who you are and being open about it and talking about it. So thank you so much for being who you are, Ma. We all love you. Thank you so much for everything.
That really touches me. Thank you.
We would love to keep talking, but we know that you've got to get to go. You've got a gig to get to. We've got a gig to get to. But we would love to do this again. Just one last question that I want to ask, Ma, is that you've been doing this for so long, right? Is there still anything that you sort of left to achieve? Does this even excite you anymore? What is the next phase of Ma Faiza look like?
You know, that's a really good question and a scary one. I keep asking and checking in with myself. You know, in the end, the music drives me. The glory, the fame, the people, that's all kind of lower than what actually drives me is the music. So long as the music is still moving me and I can find myself in that emotionally, I think that's really important. There's so many still more things to do and more experiences to have. I do feel a little bit slotted in the whole club culture right now, which I want to change. I don't know that I don't know that I find it the most nourishing space for me as who I am right now, at the age I am and the experiences that I have. I think I want more than that. So I'm kind of seeking to do maybe some different things now. And I think I've maybe just got a few more years left of my career. I want to consciously do something different. You know, if you do something for 30 years, it's 27 years now. I think another 3 and I'll have done it for 30 years. And I think that's enough. I need to do something different.
Right.
So I feel like I'm at the kind of, I wouldn't say the last years of my career, but let's say I'm at the years of my career when I shouldn't give a fuck.
I don't think you've ever given a fuck.
That's true. And now I really shouldn't give a fuck. So I think to always do something that interests me is the most important thing. Because, you know, if you're not learning and growing, like I said, you're kind of dead. So I still want to have that process. I don't know what that is right now. I'm also asking those questions for myself. Because now to just go to a gig, play, leave, go to a gig, play, leave, I don't know that it nourishes me. The people, definitely. The music, Definitely.
Yeah.
The glory even. I never had a dream of being famous. I never had a dream. This has never been my dream. It's all just happened. And then I've just gone with whatever's happening and then tried to find my truth in what's happening and then try to learn or push myself into something new to create. I'm asking those questions to myself right now because I feel like I'm not at the most exciting point in my expression right now. So I'm now going to leave for 2 months to go to Europe, and I really hope I'm going to take this time to kind of re-look at my own journey and to think, okay, what's next for me? Because there has to be that, you know?
Right.
But I'm only a few more years. And then, guys, it's a few more years and then I'm done.
Wow.
I literally want, you know, like an author that puts their pen down. I want to put my headphones down and be like, okay, that was a journey. Of course, I'm always going to listen to music. That's never going to change. But I think for me, I need to express myself in other ways.
Have you spoken about this before?
No.
Okay.
I think I've spoken to people, but not publicly.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I mean, and that's just being very honest of where I am. I don't know that doing all these gigs, you know, back-to-back gig here, there. I don't know that that nourishes me as much as maybe it used to, and I have to nourish still myself, you know? And that's no fault of anybody, but that's just time.
Right.
You know, like when you start something, you're really excited, and then before you know, you're in it. And now I can only reflect back.
Right.
So after 27 years, who would have thought that, you know, that I'd be doing anything 27 years? But you have to keep checking in, you know?
Yeah.
Because before you know it, you're doing something just out of habit rather than with that joy.
Yeah.
And I'm not someone who can fake anything. I'm such a bad faker.
Right.
Like, no, seriously, like my face just doesn't lie. Like people will come to me and be like, Ma, do you remember me? And I'll be like, and they'll already know I don't remember them because my face just says it all. It's just so, I'm a really bad actress, which is why I'm doing what I'm doing. And whenever I have to act, I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to do that? I don't know. That's not my comfort zone. My comfort zone is keep it real. I can deal with that. Anything other than that, I'm already out of my comfort zone. So yeah, this is me sharing that I'm reached a point where I'm asking also what's next for me.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you for being so honest, so candid throughout this interview. I think this is absolutely our most honest discussion that we've had on the show so far. So,
Thank you.
We would expect nothing less. Thank you so much for everything that you do. And like I said, you being yourself helps so many other people out there be themselves.
Absolutely, I agree.
Be
with
honest to who they are as an individual. So thank you for doing that for so many years. And thank you for everything.
No, Sid, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And also, you know, for me, I get inspired by people who are just themselves. That's the most honest. I feel like that's where we can really take something away from every interaction if we're just honest. And being honest gets harder and harder in the world that we're living in.
Right.
So I also believe that. I feel like if you can share who you are truly with somebody, you give them the space to share who they are truly with you, and that's so liberating. So yeah, thank you for saying that back to me.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you so much. We hope you have a killer gig tonight.
I'll let you know.
At Aloft with the Space Not team. So we've actually got another gig to get to, but we will definitely check out videos of how your show went.
Thank you.
We've got a lot of good feedback coming in already. The show's already started upstairs.
I know.
So go and have a good time. I'm sure you're going to have a killer set.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this again, Ma.
No, Sid.
Thank you. Thank
really,
you so much.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it.
So did I. Thank you so much.
Yeah, pleasure.
And we hope to do it again.
Yeah, part one. There's loads there. Trust me. Oh my God.
Can't wait. Thank you everyone for watching.
Thank you.
Hope to see you really soon. Cheers.